Medic response.
On that on-ramp again, huh?
Just our spot.
I think it's the same place that red little charger thing crashed. Or whatever that was.
You hit our button, please.
I'm on it.
Thank you, sir.
Jeep. Still in traffic. Oh, it's slippery out here. We shall see.
We're not somewhere.
That's what happens on snowy days. We run a lot of car crashes. There's the things.
Alright. 1, 2. Looks like this one actually has damage. This one spun
Maybe
up. I think this one and the back one are just bystanders. Alright, we'll leave this in here for now.
We're on scene. We're actually on I-25, clear of the ramp. Yeah,
There, boy. So what just happened?
So basically we showed up on the scene of a 2-vehicle accident, but both people had no medical complaints. So we are going to pick up and our engine's going to stay on scene and kind of clear this up for us, and we're going to go home, back in service.
Yeah. I was actually the cause because my back leg went out. I was trying to shift.
But I'm. Oh, we go.
Figured.
Castle Parkway.
Castle Pines, right?
Yeah, I think it's gotta be right.
Engine 36, Medic 44, Medical Assist, map page
Try the other way.
AD28A.
Ladder 32 dispatch. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're gonna flip it around and head back on Castle
Ladder
Parkway.
32, according to the
Just
Got it.
property manager, they advised they don't believe anyone is currently there. However, they stated if you check in with the Jinx next to Ted's, they may have somebody there that may have smelled the odor.
Is this their retirement community?
Okay, I copy. We checked in with them and everybody else who's here on site. We have no reports of an odor.
Alright, take care, buddy.
Alright, take a deep breath, okay? I know it's okay.
Reward my knees.
Alright. So you've had some knee surgeries in the past. Did you have knee replacements? No, just surgeries. Can I borrow one of your fingers? I know they're tucked up here. I'm just going to put you on a monitor to keep an eye on your oxygen levels and your heart rate. Have you been feeling lightheaded, dizzy, nauseous at all today?
No.
Okay. Okay. But you really scraped up your shins.
Yeah, I didn't hit my head, so to speak.
Okay. Yeah. But you didn't lose consciousness. And tonight, when did you get home from the hospital? It is currently about 8 o'clock right now.
I would guess around 3:30.
Okay, so you've been home for about 5 hours.
Yeah.
And this thing has been bleeding pretty heavily ever since you got home?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, they did a really good job of wrapping you up and putting an additional bandage on and putting an ACE wrap for compression on that leg. But it still is, I mean, ever since I just tried to take a look at it, a nice stream of blood kind of sprayed out of your leg. which is alarming, right? And I redressed it, and it is starting to bleed through a little bit right now, which is concerning. So I can't have you bleeding like this all night. It's totally appropriate to get you back to the hospital so they can reevaluate it, make sure that it's sutured up, and you are going to be in one piece going home, okay? Otherwise, the rest of your vital signs look perfectly fine. Oxygen level is good. Heart rate looks fine. Your last blood pressure was strong as well. We'll recheck that again here before we get to the hospital, okay? Do you have any other concerns, or is there anything you want me to know that you think I might be missing?
No, that's not really can't think of
If anything comes up, you just let me know, okay?
Yeah.
I don't, but I can do a makeshift pillow with a towel roll or something, okay? Hang tight and I'll grab a towel and I'll stuff it under there, okay? Okay.
I broke it skating one time.
Oh, and it's never been the same, huh?
Well,
I'm gonna uncover you just a little. And then hang on, we're gonna seatbelt you just for a second. Alright, let me give you one more little, you can sit back for a minute while we're still moving. Okay, one more little roll up here. Okay, alright, sit forward again, just one more time. Okay, go ahead and lay on back. Is that a little bit better? Better than nothing. Alright, and while I've got you uncovered, I'm going to borrow this arm just to get a quick blood pressure on, okay?
several miles out there.
Just a few. Alright. Blood pressure is good. Alright, I'm going to give you your arm back. Here we go. Yeah, absolutely under those covers. The rest of the call, as long as he's staying stable and I'm able to, you know, continue assessing his wound and ensuring that he's not experiencing any additional active, you know, blood loss or a massive hemorrhage. We just kind of get to sit back there and talk to one another, and I get to ask him about his day and his family and, you know, just his life a little bit, and we get to just have a very intimate conversation with each other, and it's super rewarding because it kind of de-stresses the situation, I think, for him and for myself, that it makes it a more human interaction and not a very rushed, stressful scenario. I would say that happens on the majority of the calls, that I do get to think and actually have a nice conversation with a person that's more one-on-one and human related. The ones where you cannot, you're just kind of working and getting somewhere really quickly. By the time you've gotten there, you have just a story of a very complex situation and you don't really have any intimate connection with the patients. So this is a fun part for sure. All right, I'm going to turn off your monitor, transmit this so it goes right into my report. Well, I'm sorry this has been your day today. That is quite an unfortunate day.
Let's get you inside where it's warm again.
Yes, it's nice and cold. One more time. With his call, I get to decompress and move to, like, be ready for the next one. But thankfully, I will submit a report, and I can always ask for feedback, basically, in my reporting, so I can get hospital feedback or feedback from our medical EMS liaisons, that we can actually get patient care reports and outcomes, which I think is great, especially on our complex calls, because I want to know that he did well. However, especially on the ones where there was a lot of interventions being done and you feel very rushed and busy, it's nice to get some good feedback on, you know, positive outcomes, what went wrong, what went right, and how we can do better on the next one. So, not done. I get to take a breather, and now my partner is going to be running the next call. So, I get to go and dictate my patient's report and submit that. That will be, you know, submitted to our QA/QI process, and there will be a patient care report based on his call. So I have to sit here and dictate, which is really awesome and goes pretty quickly. And then I just submit his report and we're all set with him.
That's right. Okay. So, RP is the wellness nurse. Patient fell, leaning over bed. Gait is unsteady. So this is off Arapahoe and Jordan.
Okay, right out here then?
Developmental fall victim. Yes.
Sounds good.
So Emma, we're going on a 94-year-old male that fell. So a lot of things that we want to watch out for are blood thinners, fractures. Elderly patients often get hurt a lot more severely than just minor falls.
Okay. Tower 35 with us?
Yeah.
On here.
South Metro has our own EMT program, and this EMT program, it's not only is a national requirement and state requirement that you get certain clinical hours before you can test. We allow those students to come out and ride in the field because they also have to. It's part of their coursework, and we allow them to get first-hand experience in things that they're expected to know and be competent in the field. And Emma is a great student. She's been very active in participating with trainings with the skills that we've got going on, and she's jumped in on patients. She's very honest and straightforward, which is great out of a student. When she isn't able to hear her blood pressure, she admits it. That's exactly what we want out of a student. We don't want people making up numbers. The benefit to that as well is people can come and take South Metro's EMT program, and they get to ride on South Metro ambulances doing calls, and they can do multiple rides if they want. So the clinical requirement, I believe, is 12 hours on the ambulance and then 12 hours in the ER, but they're allowed to do more than that if they want to, and we welcome them anytime. They're always under direct supervision of one of our paramedics, and I'm always eager to teach her more if she's ready to learn it, but we also know that when you're getting into that intro level of emergency medicine, it's sort of like drinking water from a fire hose, and a lot of times just getting the basics is enough for them for the first couple of rides before you can start teaching them some of the more advanced concepts. No worries. So very easy. Pop these off. Pinch that. I'm going to hook it right here so it doesn't slap anyone in the face when we're going down the road. So another mention in safety when you're in the back of the ambulance, always have 3 points of contact. If you don't, like me right now, I'm pushing my legs out into the seat and then to the bed to help anchor myself in place so that when we go, I'm not thrown way off, sort of like that. And then 3 points of contact with quick stops. Alright, so we'll give him a little bolus just to see if that changes anything. Now I'm going to get the hospital called when they know we're coming in. And they notice some oddities in your day-to-day, but now we're not seeing any changes in your mentation, which is good. But it might be concerning for something like a transient ischemia attack, like a TIA, which could be a precursor to a stroke or something like that.
I got 140 over palp. I couldn't hear it.
140 palp? Not a problem. It's always best to say you can't hear it versus getting one. Did you get a pulse too? There you go. Alright, double check that for you. A little closer to 86. But we'll work on it. So a couple of bumps and we'll be inside, okay? We like to restock everything that we used. Sometimes you get behind. Alright. That's it. A couple more ID stuff for you. Sorry. There you go. Alright.
Zone A, Alpha, Channel 2, SMF2.
Fall with head injury, you said?
Yeah. And we're going east on Arapahoe.
Yeah, so basically like forest, right?
Yeah.
It's like King Supers over there.
I've got a paramedic in training with me. We started talking about our concerns with a head injury patient specifically. So the big ones that we try to hit on is we want to make sure their blood pressure doesn't get too low. So treatment modality for that, we want to make sure we get IV access. Hypoxia, which is low oxygen saturation, can be really detrimental to a head injury as well. Additionally, we want to make sure we're kind of game planning and getting in the right thought process for a call like this. Whether it was truly a trauma, like grandma or grandpa ended up tripping on a rug and falling and hitting their head, or it was medically induced, they had chest pain, they had a loss of consciousness, and they ended up going down at that point. In paramedic school, you don't really learn about how to navigate assisted living facilities specifically. He said that's sometimes the most difficult aspect, and my comment to him was sometimes the easiest aspect of things is actually being a paramedic. We're trained for life and death emergencies, but the most difficult thing that you aren't trained for in paramedic school specifically is those relationships with healthcare facilities, or helping somebody who doesn't necessarily need a hospital, especially in the times that we have right now where hospitals are full, you know, and we're trying to advocate for not only our patients in our district, but also for the hospitals and for those critical patients that need those beds. And so sometimes the most difficult thing is problem solving for those people, and sometimes it's not in the back of an ambulance is like necessarily what they need.
112 copies, we're on scene.
The patient didn't really have any chief complaints and just had a small tiny bruise next to their eyebrow. We contacted their power of attorney because it was kind of a memory care facility as well, and sometimes their baseline mentation is hard to assess, whether they have dementia or Alzheimer's. So we contacted their power of attorney, and they are our best point of contact for the patient's baseline mentation. Sometimes it gets kind of difficult with them because we're not able to contact them, and then if we're not able to contact them, it's hard for us to decipher if the patient is altered, secondary to an acute cause, or if it is a chronic condition. So we luckily were able to get a hold of the power of attorney. The power of attorney stated that their baseline mentation was the way she was presenting at the moment on that call. We did a real good physical assessment of our patient, and we ended up walking through patient refusal. So the patient was able to actually stay at the assisted living facility, and we were able to return to service. But not necessarily every time is it that way, and we always want to prepare for a worst case scenario. Power of attorney, we get a piece of paper every time we go into an assisted living facility that has a power of attorney name and number at the bottom. Now you got to understand that patients fall in the middle of the night as well. It's not just, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon right now. Sometimes they fall in the middle of the night, and what do we do in the middle of the night? Most of us are sleeping. So we try to contact them, but getting a hold of them sometimes is very difficult. And so we have to do what's in the best interest of the patient at that time. Whether we feel that the patient is stable enough to stay in their bed and they don't necessarily need an emergency room at that time. Usually when a situation like that takes place, we call a doctor, kind of paint the picture for them, and they end up making the decision whether they would like them transported or not, and that helps with the liability component. And in the end, this is a very big time team dynamic. So that kind of helps us on that end. If we are able to get a hold of the power of attorney, the complex situation that can take place with that is the power of attorney truly involved in this patient's care? Or do they live in California and they haven't seen their mother or father, in years, and they're just mentally disconnected? At that point, it comes down to is this power of attorney truly doing what's in best for this patient? And that ends up opening up a whole different can of worms that we end up trying to approach on our end. So we have a lot of different avenues. Greatest part of our job is helping people, and we're there to be problem solvers. And it's funny that a lot of the time, we aren't truly walking down the step-by-step methodical approach to paramedic school, what we're taught in life-threatening emergencies. It is the social aspect and figuring out, how to manage an entire scene and get everybody on board to work as a team and do what's best for the patient.
So one simple thing that community members can do is utilize a checklist that is produced by the CDC to find and fix hazards within their own home. So this checklist is great because it goes through every single room in your home and identifies what the top causes of falls are in that particular room. So for example, in bedrooms, it's oftentimes having really poor lighting. So you wake up in the middle of the night and you need to go to the bathroom, but you have to walk in the dark from your bed to where that light switch is. Well, that's a really common cause of nighttime falls. So a simple fix for that is just to have some lighting next to your bed that you can reach, turn on the light, take a little bit more time to get up and adjust to that lighting before you walk across the room to the bathroom. So things like that, that checklist covers. Another example, which is a common cause that we see in our own data, is rugs. So throw rugs on the ground not being properly secured. So this checklist just walks you through some simple tips on what you can either remove from your home or replace or add to your home, maybe things like grab bars to help reduce that fall risk in your own home. There are a lot of great options that are available for older adults for free or at a reduced cost. So if you're curious about those options, you can actually look on our website that we created for older adults specifically. It's called smfrsenior.org. And on that website, we've listed all of the different resources in our community, and there's lists of places that you can go to stepping on classes or a matter of balance, which are exercise classes that are evidence-based and proven to reduce fall risk.
Engine 21 with Medic 21 to a 3-vehicle MVA with a rollover PDM.
So, give a quick check of the vehicles, make sure it's stabilized, and see if we need an upgrade at all. Okay. Okay. Left here. I heard ACSO, it looks like they had Parker shut down northbound.
Yeah.
So wherever you can position, might be
Got a tire in the lane by the cop car. Yep, the white one rolled.
Let's just check. Megan's not upgrading anything. I'm gonna do a little search with the tick, make sure nobody got tossed.
Copy.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, you're welcome to start it up, man. Get warm in here.
I'm trying.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah. Yeah, so we were back at the station and we got a call for a possible diabetic party, medical call. We went out to that and there was a gentleman that was hypoglycemic, meaning his blood sugar was low. Patient was altered, not responding to us or answering questions. While we were medically treating that patient with the ambulance crew, another call came in and we had a call for a rollover, multiple vehicles involved, possible ejections. Upon arriving to the scene, police were already here. And we had the vehicle that was behind us, the white vehicle, that had rolled several times. The windshield had come out prior to where it landed in the place, and all parties were able to self-extricate. All the other vehicles involved in the accident, there were no significant injuries that we had to deal with at that time. So very lucky circumstance for what could have potentially been fatality. Yeah, in 21's area, we typically, when we roll one call, we expect to have another call to 2 calls before we get back to the station. Each call, depending on the length of the complexity of what we might be dealing with, we might not come back to the station for another hour or 2 at this rate.
And this heavy.
Pretty like a 5-inch roll. You can pick it up.
Oh, I bet you I could.
I bet you could. Glad no one was hurt.
Yeah.
The rest of it's easy.